Hey gang, it's the Culture Detective here investigating your favorite movies. Right now it is 6:06 p.m. on a Wednesday, and today is a pretty special day because it is the US premiere, or at least US West Coast premiere of the new Kurosawa Kiyoshi film, Cloud. And I was really excited to see this film, and I'm lucky enough to be able to get the tickets for this film because it was sold out in 2 seconds or something. But I woke up early in the morning just so that I can get the tickets. But yeah, Cloud is a new film from Japanese director Kurosawa Kiyoshi, who is one of the most interesting filmmakers right now, in my opinion. He made the film Cure, which I have right here on Criterion, but he also made the film Pulse, which I saw a couple nights ago, which I really loved. So I can't wait to check out Cloud and also Chime. Also, there's going to be a Q&A session with him after the screening, so I'm going to spend a lot of money on the Uber and all that stuff, but it's going to be worth it, okay?
Thank you. All right.
Thank you. You got Zelle and everything, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
この電子治療機を1台いくらで売るつもりですか？
わかりません。その時の相場がありますから。
すごいじゃないですか。助かりました。
Republic of BeyondFest, please join me in welcoming back to the stage a true master of cinema, director Kiyoshi Kurosawa. Your foray into action movies a little bit, but it also shares the DNA with your filmography, some of your concerns about human nature. How did you come up with it, and what was the writing process like?
はい、まず最後まで見ていただいて本当にありがとうございました。
First and foremost, thank you so much for watching till the very end. 本当に、昔からアメリカ映画が大好きでしたから、アメリカ映画では本当に気持ちのいい、アクション映画がたくさん作られていて、そういうものをなかなか日本ではできないなと思って、いつかやってみたいっていうすごくシンプルな昔からの欲望がまずありました。 So when it comes to Cloud, I've loved American films all my career, all my life. I feel that the action films that come out of the U.S. are so great, but to do pull off something like that in Japan is very difficult. So I feel like Cloud came out of a desire of me thinking one of these days I want to make a really solid action film. 日本でももちろんこういうアクション映画のようなものはなくはないんですが、そのほとんどが、最初から現実離れしたファンタジーであるか、あるいは登場人物がヤクザとか警察官とか殺し屋とかですね、もうそもそも非常に暴力的な暴力にいつも近いところで生きている人たち、その人たちが登場すると、割と簡単にこういう出来事は起こせる、そういう映画は日本にもあります。So, I must recognize that Japan does have some good action films, but in the case of Japan, sometimes it's set in a fantasy world already, and it stays in that fantasy world. Also, you'll oftentimes see cops or yakuza or murder in these action films, so it's pretty straightforward to expect action. And compared to other 45-minute films, I'm not sure if you can consider this good, and but just please, and yeah, with a very unusual, probably storytelling pace as well. So if you can enjoy it, that would be great.
すると、途中で何のこれわけがわからないとかいろいろ思うことがあるかもしれませんが、45分ですからちょっと我慢すれば終わりますから、最後まで我慢してください。
And if you find yourself thinking, what the heck am I watching? It's only 45 minutes. So if you just wait to the end, that would be great.
Please keep that round of applause going for director Kiyoshi Kurosawa.
Hey, Spooky, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite movies, and today I'm going to be doing a movie review on a couple of films I watched 2 nights ago, back to back, and these 2 films are respectively Cloud and Chime, which are written and directed by Kurosawa Kiyoshi, or Kiyoshi Kurosawa. And this great Japanese director, Kiyoshi Kurosawa, is by no means related to Akira Kurosawa, who is also a great Japanese director, or was also a great Japanese director. But prior to Cloud, I've seen 2 films from him. I wish I'd seen more, but I've only seen 2, and conveniently, these 2 films are his most popular and critically acclaimed films, one being 1997's Cure, which is a cold-blooded, harsh, dreary film about senseless violence. And then a few days ago I watched Pulse from 2001, which is an absolutely fantastic film, very thought-provoking, slow-burning, absolutely depressing film about loneliness, alienation, the afterlife, and the internet all at once. And I'm actually saving the film Pulse to review at the end of the month because I want this to be the Halloween film of the year. So Kurosawa Kiyoshi exists in a very interesting space and time in Japanese film history. Not only are his most interesting and captivating works in the late 90s and early 2000s fit right into the Heisei internet sphere era of J-horror, for example, but also his films have contributed a lot to modern, contemporary Japanese art house cinema, alongside with other filmmakers like Hamaguchi Ryusuke, Iwai Shunji, Ano Hideaki, who made Evangelion, by the way. So his work has always been absolutely fascinating for me, and I keep finding myself wanting more and finding more inspirations from the films I've seen from him. Now, this year, Kurosawa Kiyoshi made or released 3 films. The first film being Serpent's Path, which is a French remake of a film of the same name he made nearly 2 decades ago. And then afterwards in Berlin International Film Festival, which was in the summer, I believe, he released the mini feature film called Chime. And then afterwards in Venice Film Festival in September, he released the film Cloud. So he released 3 films this year. And while 3 seems a lot, I do understand that Kurosawa Kiyoshi is very prolific. He makes movies constantly. And his last film, Wife of a Spy, co-written with Hamaguchi Ryusuke, came out in the year 2020. So it makes sense that between 2020 and 2024, in these 4 or 5 years, obviously he's worked on multiple things. So the first film I saw is Cloud, and it is also the premiere of the film in LA, and I also got to see Kurosawa Kiyoshi himself at a Q&A, which is absolutely fantastic. Also, I just want to point out that now I've seen Hamaguchi Ryusuke, Yakusho Koji, and Kurosawa Kiyoshi in person for Q&As, which is just absolutely fantastic. What a time to be alive. But anyways, Cloud is not a horror film, and in fact is an action film, which is something Kurosawa Kiyoshi has never really touched on before. It is about Yoshi, who is a scalper. He buys stuff on the internet and resells them for a way higher price so that he can make money. And of course that didn't go so well. He started making enemies, and the enemies want to kill him, and that's the whole plot. The main character Yoshi is played by Suda Masaki, who I'm not too familiar with, mainly because he stars in a lot of anime/manga live action adaptation films, and I'm not too familiar with those things because I don't usually watch them, but he's been in films ranging from Gintama to Kamen Rider to Assassination Classroom. And after having seen Cloud, and I saw how pathetic, controlling, and sad he is in this film, I totally wouldn't have expected that he used to be an anime live action star who is well beloved by a lot of people. So honestly, Suda Masaki did a fantastic job in this film. Now, the story-wise, the film takes a long time to pick up its pace, and that's to be expected because Cure and Pulse are both to some extent slow burns. But the thing is, Cure and Pulse, while a lot of parts in those films are slow, they're at least extremely formally playful. This film, however, unfortunately feels less playful. And again, I feel like I'm not the best expert to talk about this because I haven't seen the Kurosawa Kiyoshi films between 2001 and now, and he's made tons of other films between Pulse and now, like Tokyo Sonata, Creepy, Charisma, Serpent's Path, and Eye of the Spider, I believe, was between this time as well, and so much more happened. So I don't know what happened between Pulse and this, but I see a stylistic change. Formally, this film is way less playful. The camera moves more, but not in an interesting way. There are so many shots in Cure and Pulse where the camera just stays in place, and that stillness adds to the uneasiness of the shot. It doesn't happen quite as often in Cloud. And again, Cloud is an action film. It's not a horror. It's not supposed to make you feel uneasy. It's just that I wish there was more of a stylistic flair to it. The editing and the sound design is also a bit less interesting. There are obviously moments of interesting editing and sound play, some jarring moments of edit where the score suddenly cuts or the sound is completely cut off suddenly. And what I want to say is Kurosawa Kiyoshi, albeit directing an action film, the way he frames his characters is still so apt for horror. The way the characters are blocked, the way a weird figure can suddenly move in the back or suddenly step into the camera from the side unbeknownst to the main character, they're all so Kurosawa Kiyoshi, and I really love that. But the second half of Cloud is where the film shines, where we are hit with pure violence, men killing each other for no good reason, and the film is actually very funny. There's a bit of a my life is a video game esque to the ending of the film. So overall, it's a very simple and unambitious film, but it's still incredibly well made, and I thought I enjoyed it for the most part. I am giving this film a strong 7 to a light 8 out of 10. So, after a Q&A with Kurosawa Kiyoshi, we watched Chime, which is a film from him, premiered at the Berlin International Film Festival, and it's 45 minutes long, and it's a mini feature. It's technically still a feature film because it's more than 40 minutes long, but it's a mini feature. It's only 45 minutes. So the interesting thing about Chime is that apparently after its release, it was sold as an NFT after being hacked to pieces. And the weird thing is, after being distributed as an NFT, people would buy a piece of the film, but they wouldn't be able to see it until they sell it to someone else. So there's something really weird going on, and I'm sure this isn't Kurosawa Kiyoshi's dream to do something like that, but truth be told, after the pandemic and everything, he needs money, and that's the truth. So anyways, it's kind of ironic because Cloud is about buying and reselling, and Chime is literally itself being bought and resold. So Chime, essentially, I don't want to spoil what happens in the film. You just have to know that the main character is a chef who teaches in a cooking school, and chaos occurs. That's all you need to know. This film is nothing but violence. Pure violence. Lots and lots and lots of never-ending violence. And when I learned about the synopsis of the film, I thought it's going to be like Memoria, where the main character has to investigate a mysterious sound and it sort of goes into a weird rabbit hole. But no, Chime is not like Memoria at all. It completely is not. There is a chime sound, but that's not even the main dish of the film. I don't even think there is a main dish in this film other than violence and more violence. It's kind of interesting because my friend told me that this film is kind of similar to Cure and Pulse, where he explores violence, like everyday salaryman in Tokyo kind of violence, and also the human psyche all over again, kind of like Cure and Pulse. But Cure and Pulse is the only two films I've seen from him. But yeah, indeed, there's a lot of blood, a lot of screaming, a lot of confusion, and in a lot of ways, Chime is like a sequel to Cure. But again, formally, it's not as playful as the two films I've seen from him. It is a little bit more interesting than Cloud, though. Again, there are a lot of moments where the sound cuts off, a lot of weird close-ups, a lot of interesting angles. There's this film grain filter at the end for some weird reason. It's a very random and unpredictable film. You can never predict what happens in the next scene. And this film is also equally as funny as Cloud, if not even more funny at times. In the beginning of the film, one of the students in the cooking school would awkwardly stand in the back, and the camera would just pan over and reveal him. Those shots are hilarious. There's a monologue involving a raw chicken that was hilarious. And again, it's like Cure. It reminds me of the piece of raw steak in Cure, where Yakusho Koji throws a steak at the wall. And the restaurant interviews are very funny as well. So Chime, albeit smaller of a film, I actually enjoy a bit more. So I'm giving Chime a decent 8 out of 10. So have you seen Cloud and Chime? Comments below, let me know, subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching.